8,090 pounds Cougar 27SGS landing here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This has been a very popular model over the years, and it's funny, Cougar was really the originator of this model. Everybody and their brother jumped on it, and over the years, different brands have stopped building it because the Cougars remain popular, and I just don't know that they could compete. Cougar's done a lot of really nice touches here. It's also got a lot of awesome qualities like standard automatic leveling, 0 to 110 degree rated, 12 volt tank heaters, off-grid ready, including inverter, not just solar, but also inverter ready, and even allowances for a full-time RV warranty, just like its big brother Montana. Fun fact, this is actually the most successful fifth wheel in its class in history. Pay attention, guys. There's some good things I think you're going to like here. And right away when we step inside, we are greeted by a brand new, lighter, brighter, modernized decor here in these Cougars. It is something that a lot of people had been asking for a while. They said, I love Cougar, but I'm just wore out on brown. I just want to see a different look for a while. We'll pull these shades down in a minute. You'll get, and it's amazing how the sunlight will kind of change the way this looks. So depending on the light that's hitting all this furniture, like right now it looks gray. With the sunlight not hitting it, it looks like a creamy brown. So I call it grayish. It's a nice kind of interesting in-betweener, you know? Now, one other thing I want to point out here, historically, we have always brought this model into Haylett RV with a freestanding table and chairs. Now, obviously, that's still an available option, but I started to get some requests for a booth dinette. And now that I've seen it, I think maybe people are right. I like the look of this. It doesn't look like it's in your way, in your face. I like the simplicity where I don't have to tie down 2 more chairs for transit. Anything that makes my process simpler and easier, I'm happy with. Not to mention the fact, if we fold that down, we are picking up a little extra sleeping space in addition to that tri-fold sleeper sofa that we've always had over here. Now, you may have noticed too how it does have those blackout privacy shades. Again, if you really want to blot the sun out, you can. But that's one of the cool things about this floor plan. It just has windows everywhere. It just has amazing views, visibility, light, airflow, everything. Some RVs have windows on one side, some on the other. This is the one that gives us windows on like every side of the RV, which I think is great. Now these dual pushback recliners right here, they're free floating, so if you want to scoot them around, you can. They have their own little kind of carpet squares just to make sure that you're not scooting around and damaging the flooring, but if you really don't care about all that, or if you want to put like a little skid pad on the bottom of the chair legs, you could easily pull those out of there. Side stands on either side of those recliners give you a handy place to put drinks. There's household and USB plugs on both sides of those as well. And something else I want to point out here is this RV has the in-command system. So there's a master control panel that we're going to look at in a few minutes here that can operate your lights and awnings and slides and all kinds of stuff. But you still have just a living room light switch. Let me spin you around here so you can see. You don't have to sync this thing to your phone. You don't have to get up and down and walk over to that command panel. There's a similar light switch that operates just the bedroom lights. So if you don't care about all the technological stuff, if you feel it's more like technological crap, fine, don't use it. There's still a light switch. There's still just a traditional light switch. Now, as long as I'm over here talking about lighting, you've got cool dimmer lighting right here in the slide out, which makes for a really good like night light effect. And it actually has positional memory, so it can stay dimmed or you can swell it back up. And that's really cool when it's like movie time. When you are not wanting to have like bright lights blinding you at the end of the night or early morning, anything like that. So there's a lot of cool different ways that you can use this, and that's one of the things I like about it. They've found different solutions for everything that they're doing here. They've also updated the ceiling panels, just a little bit of a different look to it. I like the color, the texture. It ties everything together very nicely, I think. Over here, let's see, we've already seen the dinette down. You know what we haven't seen, though? One of the other benefits to getting the booth dinette, I would say option, but this is actually the standard seating setup on this model. One of the other really cool benefits of this thing right here is that it does give us some more storage, and I've always been of the belief, I've never seen an RV that had, quote, too much storage. Now, whenever I've said that, I've had some of my viewers as jokes say, this RV has too much storage, which I love, by the way. Please keep that humor coming. It keeps me going more than you can even possibly realize. So I've always been of the belief that there's no such thing as too much storage. So anywhere I can get a little more, I'm gonna take advantage of it. Similarly, it's easy to miss the fact that this big double pivoting TV arm right here has a nice open pocket behind it. If you wanted to put some shelving or something in there, you could. And then both sides of that Bluetooth stereo have these little mini pockets. It's nothing major, but it is a handy place to keep like your remote controls and stuff out of the way, just above that electric space heating fireplace. But not to be outdone, we're going to look at the kitchen in more detail here. But first, I want to start by taking a look at under this peninsula. You can see triple drawer space, which is fantastic. And you can see in the background, more drawers will open in just a moment. But big, space below the sink there. There's part of me that says I kind of wish they would have cut that shelf away to make room for a wastebasket, but there's enough plumbing and stuff down there that I don't know it would really work effectively in that way. The model is like open enough in terms of its layout and design that I think you could also just as easily just set a nice wastebasket with like one of those revolving door kind of things right at the end of that countertop and make it work. We also have some pretty excellent overhead cabinet space here in the kitchen proper. Now that power outlet over there, I mean, obviously easy to reach, and this is all sealed edge thermofoil countertop material. It has an inverter ready outlet. If you choose to add an inverter to the RV, that would be a live powered outlet in this model. You can see the little stickers on it kind of indicating for you. Again, 2 extra large drawers over here, and Cougars do like to use a larger 22-inch oven, very similar to like the Rockwoods that we have here at Haylett RV. One other quick mention I want to make is this RV slipped in just before Cougar began offering a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. So that is an 8 cubic foot two-way. That is still the standard fridge here, and I'm actually glad you get to see it so that we have a good chance to talk about this. Cougar does offer an optional 10.7 or 10.2, whatever. Each brand offers it a little bit differently, but 10 point whatever cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge. In the future, that is how we will have quite a few of these in stock here at Haylett RV, but as you can see, we're not necessarily opposed to building them this way either. There are still some benefits both ways. And I thought, hey, we'll just give you a real quick look at the kitchen all closed up, since all you've seen of it so far is just all the drawers and everything open. I didn't specifically mention it, but that is a stainless double sink below those like cutting board style sink covers. Handy little grab rail gets us upstairs, and on the way we see a full viewing window in the entry door. Now there's a little privacy shade you could install if you are so inclined, but if you want to, see who's knocking at your door, well, it's, pretty darn easy to do it. Now, they also have a handy little motion light over here on the stairs. I don't know if you noticed. If you back the video up, you'll see that was not ignited just a moment ago. Just walking anywhere near it powers it right up. There's also motion sense lighting all over, like in the pass-through compartments. And, of course, our handy in-command system has the little hang tag here, kind of indicates you can sync it to your phone. And this is basically the brains of the operation. We punch in our little code, and anything you can do off this, you could just as easily do off your phone if you want to. Again, you don't have to. But we can check our battery levels, we can operate our water pump and water heater from here, our lighting, lights, awnings, and this is the one that I think is great. You can control your heating and cooling from in command. So if you're sitting over there, or if you're laying in bed and it gets too hot, too cold, you don't even have to get up. You don't even have to put on pants. You can crank the air up, down, inside, and out, any which way but loose. Another really cool thing about In Command is if you are setting up camp, if I'm in here pushing the button, I can't see what's outside that slide. I can't see if I'm going to crush the water spigot at the campground. And this is the kind of input that only actual camping experience can get you guys, because I've come close to making some mistakes before. Now, unless you have somebody over here peeking over the side with their head out the fire escape egress window, you'll never know for sure if you're clear. Well, with In Command, I can walk around the back side of the RV, I can grab my phone, I can open and close the slide, and I can maintain a direct line of sight with the slide face to make sure I'm not damaging anything. Similarly, standing at the In Command panel, how can you guarantee that the bed slide is going to close uninhibited? No damage. Well, you can't. You can guess, but you can't really guarantee it. Unless you have In Command, you can open the door, pop your head in there, hit the button off your phone, and make sure you're not going to break anything, because that is not how you want to begin or end your trip, or in the middle. I mean, you just never want that to happen, I guess. There's no good time for it, obviously. Now our bathroom does have a sliding privacy door just to make it kind of easy in and out. They had done that little pivot door for a couple seasons, got away from it. Porcelain foot flush stool with plenty of legroom in here. I mean, for an RV this size, they've done a great job on their bathroom. If you're looking at it, frankly, it's very Montana inspired, and I think that's fine. Again, there's a big relationship between Cougar and Montana, and a lot of the important qualities they both share now, and they've done a very good job of it. We have ourselves about a 6.5 foot upper deck here, and since the shower pan and hardware is recessed, the plumbing that is, that means that you should always have plenty of headroom here. You can see that clear glass door makes the whole room look and feel larger. I like that kind of printed shower wall backer. It dresses the room up, but without it looking so blocky and enclosed and in your face. The seat right there, ideal if you need to sit to bathe, or if you got a little hitch in your giddy up, something like that. Not to mention the fact we have ourselves a big medicine cabinet in here, something where you can pack a whole lot of toothbrushes and, you know, allergy pills. So I thought I'd get us in here and open this all up real quick, just so you could get a good look at everything. But mostly I want to focus down what's happening below the medicine cabinet at the sink setup. You know, that's the light switch on the opposing wall. That is obviously a GFI protected outlet, so you don't electrocute yourself or nothing like that. We have a sealed edge thermal foil countertop in here, just like you saw in the kitchen. All of the kitchen counters have that same sealed material. And that means they can recess that sink, which is definitely big enough for adult-sized hands. Now, very similar to what you find in Montana's, once again, I said it's a very Montana-inspired bathroom. You've got yourself space for a wastebasket here. You know, you can stack up some toilet paper in there, but these drawers right here in the bathroom, those are worth their weight in gold, and that is something that is very easily overlooked by a lot of people when they're shopping. And that's one of the cool things on Cougars. They're not made just for somebody casually shopping right now. They're made for somebody who's really looking for something long term. Now, something you might notice up here in the bedroom is that the decor changed a little bit, moving a little bit back toward that traditional warm Cougar, away from the kind of farmhouse sort of inspired look. And that makes sense to me, because I know that at my house, due to no influence of my own, absolutely 100% related to my wife being just very good with colors, because, you know, in her head, she's got the 72 box of crayons. In my head, I've got the 8 box of crayons. And I think that's normal for most men and women. I think it's like, what, 1 in 4 men suffer from some form of color blindness. And I just think most of the time it's color, I don't careness. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, at my house, my bedroom and my living room are not the exact same decor. This makes sense. It's very warm. It's rich. There's nice tie-ins, you know, but you can tell it's a different room now. We've got ourselves a 60 by 80 easy walk around, easy to make queen bed. There's power outlets up by the headboards, both household and USB on both sides. And over here, if you're looking at the outlets on Cougars, you'll find 3 of them that have a little sticker on it that basically says like inverter ready. That's what's kind of cool about Cougars. They're not just solar ready, they're also inverter ready, so that if you do choose to add some off-grid capability to your RV, Cougar's already done a lot of the wiring and legwork for you, and that will save you some trouble over time. Big window over here, and it does have a blackout shade, of course, but if you really want to just kind of blot out the sun, or if you want to wake up and see, man, what was that sound outside? You can check that out. Now, real quick mention, yes, there are TV hookups across from the bed. That seems like something that every RV does, but I've noticed if I don't specifically mention it, people assume there's a reason I didn't, and they assume there's something wrong, and in truth, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm just trying to focus on different things, but hey, here we go. Now, over here, you can see the beginnings of a lot of storage in this bedroom. Now, in addition to having household and USB plugs on both side stands like that, you can see you've got kind of like a lower, almost dresser, just general storage space. And I wanted to open these up so that you see they're not hanging closets, which is sort of what your mind, I think, puts together. Just because for so many years, each side of the bed in the RV industry had a hanging closet. That's where all of this space over here comes in. You can see that huge hanging rod in there. You know, now you've got like a triple closet instead of 2 little ones, plus 3 dedicated dresser drawers down here. So you have yourself just a whole chunk of storage space. Not to mention the fact that this entire bed also lifts up, and there's a shocking amount of storage down here as well. And you can see nice things like easy lift gas struts, plywood bed decking, and they open this up as much as they possibly could. Some people wonder, why is there that little mini step up there. Well, first of all, you don't have to step on that, which is nice, but that's where the structure for the pin box is located. They have to bulk that up, so they have to nudge that up just a bit. But if you notice, the historical like 9-inch step of death that existed at the foot of this bed, it's not there. There's nothing here that's going to cause you to roll your ankle. And I think in this size, in this class with structural limitations and build technology, that's really the best it's going to get. And I'm happy for it. They did such a good job in here. Then a real quick look here with the slide closed. Well, all of the slides closed, but just starting up in the bedroom. You see that the bed doesn't have to scoot. You don't lose the bed or anything like that. You might not walk around the opposite side, but big deal. If you got to make a travel stop, you got to take a nap, you can make that work. Of course, naturally, since there's no slides or anything blocking the bathroom, it remains fully accessible. Where you're really going to have to kind of plan ahead is your living room access. This layout, to give you opposing slides in either an island or a peninsula or something, you're just gonna have to sacrifice that kind of travel functionality. So, you know, if you are gonna make a long trip, what you might want to do is in that entry area where you first open the door, actually where I'm standing right now, if I back up, you might just want to like plan ahead and put a cooler here or something like that in case you need to stop, grab a bite, you know, make a sandwich. But otherwise, she's definitely a model better for destinations. But that's the thing. Every model's made for different purposes. This one was made to give you a bigger living room in a shorter length. This is just what goes with the territory, I guess. Floating down through the floor into that pass-through compartment, you see a good look at that aluminum structure going on here. And considering this is not a high-profile fifth wheel like a Montana, or even a bigger full Cougar, quote-unquote, since this is the Cougar half-ton series, I use the word half-ton in relation to these fifth wheels very loosely. That's the name of the RV. That doesn't necessarily indicate it's half-ton towable. Half-ton towability will greatly depend on your specific vehicle. And if you're not sure what your truck can handle, give us a call here at Haylett RV. Give us a chance to run the specs. Let us put some safety before the sale. Make sure we're, not going to get into a pinch. Now, before I forget, because I always do, very similar to like our new Eagles. You see these Cougars are side camera prepped in addition to rear camera prepped, which is pretty darn cool. Now, above us, we used our in-command system to pop that power awning and the LED lights open. We got some wicked morning backlighting shining through. So thankfully, this awning's really kind of doing the job of helping shield us from all that. Now, just imagine what it's going to do during the midday sun. Friction hinge door so it doesn't go slapping open against the sidewall. It's also worth mentioning, you've got all kinds of power outlets around here. Like just inside the baggage door, you have TV hookups and power outlets. But notice that you have some outside too, so that you don't necessarily always have to have your baggage door gaping wide open. Maybe you don't want to be flashing your stuff around to the neighbors. Then again, if you are camping at a clothing optional resort, flashing your stuff around to the neighbors just kind of goes with the territory now, doesn't it? Stable step entry, making the herky-jerkiness kind of go away when you walk in and out. Although, on a fifth wheel like this with auto leveling, which Cougar was the first in this class to standardize auto leveling, herky-jerkiness from coming up and down, not nearly the challenge that it would be on a lot of other RVs. With that awning closed up, just to give you a more normal view of her, we'll start working our way around past that painted nose cap. Fun little feature on these is they actually use orange LED, well, amber, I guess is the technical name, but orange LED accent lights in the nose caps of these. The reason being, it's DOT approved. So if you happen to leave your accent lights on when you're going down the road, old Johnny Law is not gonna have any good reason to take a shine to you unless you've been driving like you've been drinking some shine. Anyway. And I love the look of these. I also love the consistency in the look between this Cougar, I guess you call it Little Cougar, and then Big Cougar. They also have more equipment in common than they don't. It's almost like the way people say Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like Dr. Pepper than regular Dr. Pepper. I never fully understood what that meant, but it kind of makes sense in relation to what you're seeing here on a Cougar. So it has the same road armor, pin box, and suspension 1-2 combo that you'd find on something like a Montana. Not even just a high country, but a full Montana. And, things like the similarities in the full-time RV warranty and the hot, cold camping packages that you find with a big Montana. That's what's really cool about these. If you're looking for something, for long-term ownership, but you're trying to keep it smaller, that's where Cougar really comes into the mix, and they do a very good job of it. Now, we've already seen the pass-through compartment in pretty good detail on the other side. Over here, want to take a look at the docking center. There is a simple side mount solar prep plug over here. We are going to get on the roof where you can see that it does have a full roof solar prep as well. You can see some handy motion lighting in here, so that will kick on when you need it, off when you don't. Very similar over there. You've got the exact same motion lighting over on that side. I don't believe I mentioned it there. Now, this is all very straightforward because it just tells you, do you want to winterize the RV? Yes or no. Do you want to bypass a water heater? Yes or no. Little outside shower you can put on any sort of conventional residential garden sprayer hose of your choice. Key TV means you don't have to have that signal antenna booster button anymore for your TV. It just simplifies that whole process. That's a Keystone exclusive feature, by the way. Our battery disconnect down here, making sure that nothing is running and eating our battery when we are, away. Now over here, this is where you can install things like your solar charge controller. The inverter prep is actually behind that bulkhead wall, in case you're curious. You just drop that down, install the inverter, pop it back up, you're done. Easy access auto leveling controls, but they're away from where cargo would shift and potentially damage things. Now, if we get down here real quick, you can't see much, which is a bummer, because Cougar does a ton down here. You can see it's enclosed, but, I mean, at this stage in the game, what brand of fifth wheel is not enclosing their underbelly? And the answer to that is one that's probably about to go out of business in the very near future. But Cougars are enclosed. They're forced air heated. They have a radiant barrier. They have 12-volt tank heating pads. They also do a very interesting thing, the way that they run their water and heat lines. They run their water lines along the chassis rail, and then they run the heat line right on top of it. So the heat line is basically making direct physical contact effectively with the water lines, so that when the heat's running through the heat line, it is organically also through just pure diffusion heating the water lines. Then there's a T-junction off that heat line with an outlet directed directly onto each holding tank. So this not only has a heated belly, but it actually has a heat vent dumping heat directly onto each holding tank along with the 12-volt tank heating pads, while basically simultaneously heating the water lines. And there's a lot of engineering that went into that, none of which you can see, and it's why these work so well in the cold. Now, we're backup camera ready, and remember, we're side view ready as well. All these windows open for maximum airflow, like on the side there, the rear wall. The toothpick windows on either side of the sofa do not open for airflow. I want to clarify that so that I'm not, the way that I phrased that I don't believe was exactly correct. Anyway, reverse travel lighting here in the taillights, and this is something Cougars bulked up on in the last year or so. This is fairly recent. They've upgraded from just a 300-pound accessory hitch to a 3,000-pound towing hitch. And you see the safety chain hooks and four-way wiring harness down there, so that if you do want to do something like tack a boat or a little trailer on the back of this, you absolutely can. But again, there's nothing stopping you from just doing something as simple as a bike rack. And since this is factory installed, you don't void your warranty by trying to add this stuff aftermarket. That's what I like about these. And a couple sweet little features up here on the roof. Like you see the polar white roof membrane. Cougar was one of the first in this class to go back to a white exterior. And since they did, it only took about 6 months. And nearly everybody who competes with Cougar said, oh, we like the look of that. We're going to start copying the look of that. And that's normal for Cougar. They are, again, the most successful fifth wheel in the mid-profile class in history. They've been a trailblazer for a long time, and they continue to be. I don't know that they always get the credit for it, frankly. I think that they make a great product. I just don't know that they market themselves very well. But hey, now right over there you see a roof solar prep plug. And it's cool that it has that, and Cougar actually does offer a factory solar package. But what's really neat is Cougar was one of the very first, if not the very first, mainstream product to also standardize inverter prep. In the pass-through compartment that we've already seen, there is a spot behind a wall where a wiring loom exists, where if you want to add an inverter, you can do so after the fact. Now, when you get the Cougar factory solar option, it includes the inverter as well. It's called the Cougar OTG package. So if you're down with OTG, yeah, you know me, then you'll know that it would live power a bedroom, kitchen, and TV outlet. So 3 outlets are hooked up to that pre-prep inverter wiring. So it's a cool thing. If you don't care about any of it, big deal. You're not really paying for anything. If you do want to upgrade for off-grid features, though, Cougar's very capable of doing that. Now you see the Winegard Air 360 antenna system right there. That's the black bucket looking thing. You can easily upgrade that to a Winegard Connect system on the inside of the RV. You'll see a little white kind of inverted dome shaped thing sticking down at you where you can install one of those. That's the bottom of the TV antenna. Then you see those two little like white hockey pucks. You might be wondering, what are those? Those are roof attic vents. So the gap between the interior ceiling panel and exterior roof decking, that's called the RV's attic. Well, if that heat is not allowed to vent and you see a third one upstairs because naturally heat rises, then the RV is just going to bake you from the head down. So they took care of it. And that's one of the cool things about Cougars. We talk about cold camp capability all the time, and Cougars are all 0 degree rated. They're all warranted for full-time RVing. Their warranties auto transfer. You know, they do things that very few other brands do in that regard. But they're also really well focused on hot climate camping. The way that they have a radiant barrier running all the way up the nose across the roof. You know, the way that they have the radiant barrier through the belly. They do a lot of things to help keep this not just cold climate capable, but hot climate capable as well. So, Cougars are like a cup of tea or a piece of pizza. You can have it hot and cold. Either way, it's good. So give us a call if you like what you see. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy ALIC camping, everyone.